thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Bom dia.
Yes, I like that. Hey, that's a great idea, actually. We should get everybody to speak like some sort of Portuguese.
That's cool.
Maybe at the end, like a message or something.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have enough Brazilian people in Miami, so.
Yeah, no, right. They're everywhere. That's cool. But seriously, thanks for being here, though.
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you guys.
The bubble, as crazy as it is bringing like a lot of people together.
Yeah,
and
for
especially
sure,
us coaches. Sure. It's like, when in the world do we have, all the NBA strength coaches staying basically at the same location where we can all pick each other's brains and help each other grow and etc. So.
Yep, totally. No, I've been wanting to hang out with you guys. It's a small campus, so we've been crossing paths in the hallway, seeing you guys by the elevators and everything. I see you out there doing your sprint workouts.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you got to join us one day.
I know.
Maybe you can coach us.
Right, right. Yeah, I'll come out there.
Track and field star over here. We can actually talk about that. Like you, and after knowing that we're going to spend some time together, I did some reading about you. You were all SEC pole vaulter.
Yeah, I was a pole vaulter at University of Florida. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was fun. It was a great experience, and I know speaking on strength and conditioning, that was a big part of my development. Obviously, growing up around my dad, who I'm sure we'll talk about, but for me personally, being an athlete in track and field was huge for kind of learning, training, and seeing live, and we had a great team. We were a national champion team, so being able to see how the elite sprinters train and throwers and jumpers, and it was a great live course in strength and conditioning.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. But so you, of course, you the head strength and conditioning coach for the Miami Heat right now. You, the son of the famous Bill Foran. So strength and conditioning is in your family, it's in your blood, right? How was growing up? And then how did you get into pole vaulting? And then later on, how did you ended up finding yourself becoming a strength coach?
Yeah, it's
and trust me, have time, so you can tell us the whole story.
All right, cool. Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, growing up, my dad has been in the NBA since the 80s. He's been long-time strength and conditioning coach, kind of seen it all, been through it all. So to grow up with that around the Miami Heat teams when I was younger, and just learn about strength and conditioning through him. And then as I got older into middle school, high school, college, and I was a competitive athlete, I always wanted to try to make myself the best that I could be. Yeah. And training was a big part of that. So I really enjoyed learning about how to train, learning about the weight room, strength and conditioning and all that, and picking my dad's brain about that when I was younger of what can I do to get better. Yeah. And, he'd help me find things in the weight room and help me with my training, and it was just a great experience. I always enjoyed that end of things. And then I went to Florida, and this is 5 hours from home, so it's close to home, but far enough removed. I was doing my own thing. Yeah. I was away, and we had our different program up there, which was great also, and just seeing kind of the commonalities, the differences, and taking some things out of the track and field world, some things out of the basketball strength and conditioning world, and I think that has helped me a lot as a coach. Yeah. But you asked about getting into pole vault. I was actually a basketball player when I was younger, and then in 9th grade I broke my hand right at the start of basketball season, and so I missed it and went out for track. I did track and field in middle school, and I was just basically I ran like 200 and 400 and stuff, so that's what I kind of thought I was going to do. And my mom actually saw in the newspaper there was an advertisement. The University of Miami was having a pole vault camp, and so she found it. She saw it and was like, "What do you think about this? I think you might be good at this." And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool. That sounds fun." I saw videos of it. The guys jump with the poles and swing upside down, and oh, that looks awesome. Yeah, I'll try it. And I just kind of fell in love with that, and followed that career path.
So how old were you when you went to that camp?
9th grade. So I was I 15? Okay. 14, 15 years old? Yeah, 15.
And did at that point, with the influence from your father, were you already into have you been bitten by the strength and conditioning bug yet, or no? Was this just my dad's a strength coach, I like sports,
Yeah,
worked
no,
out eventually.
I was interested in it at that point. I'd probably been lifting for a couple years. I mean, my whole life I was, around sports and played different sports growing up, and played basketball, played tennis. I always played different sports, and worked out, and just through being with my dad, I'd go into the weight room, and he'd show me some things there, and I'd always try to be doing different exercises and stuff. So I was familiar with strength and conditioning, but still at the very early stages.
Yeah.
But as I got older, and I mean, pole vault, like anything, any tough skill to learn, it's tough at first. It's kind of goes slowly at first, and then you kind of get the hang of it, and then you start getting better. Like, it's not something you just go to a camp and you're elite level.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it takes some time to kind of pick up the skills, especially at that age too. I was young, and as I started putting on more muscle and maturing physically a little bit, I got a lot better, and it just all kind of kept going from there, and just enjoyed, and I saw how the training in the weight room helped me in the sport, and so it was just contagious. I just wanted to find out more about that and how I could be my best and compete and just try to get to the best level that I could.
That's awesome.
That's super cool.
Do you think the weight room helped you get to Florida to be a pole vaulter?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And how much was your pops part of that?
Yeah, he was a big part of that. But it was all by my choosing. Like, he wasn't forcing me to train or anything. I was seeking it out, and really it was kind of between my 10th grade and 11th grade year. I got a lot stronger. That's when I was really got more serious about training. I got a lot stronger and jumped a couple feet higher in the pole vault, and just saw, okay, the strength is important. Like, having the increasing my speed, my power, being able to swing up on it and everything. I definitely, the weight room in high school helped to get me to a high enough level that I'd be able to compete in college.
So, and because I'm fascinated always about the process of everything, right? So, like, I'm envisioning you as, growing up with a father that's a strength coach for a high-level organization, but then it's kind of, you had that drive to, like, be a hell of an athlete as well and use all that knowledge that he has to help you succeed.
Yep.
But then I don't want to take it away, your determination to, like, meet with both and be like, you know what, like, I have all these resources on him, but I also have all my drive, and putting it all together resulted in you going to school.
Totally. I mean, you guys know with the athletes we work with, that's how it is. When they have that internal drive and they come to us and want to get better, that's when great things happen.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And then, so at this point, you go from like as a strength coach, now looking back, you're looking at things from a perspective of, like, I think I can be a strength coach? Or was it more like, I'm a pole vaulter? And it didn't really cross your mind, or maybe when I'm done school.
Right, yeah, that's kind of how it was at the time, just kind of living in the moment, just trying to be the best I could at the time, and trying to jump higher and trying to have team success at Florida. But it was actually another funny story. I was going into my senior year of college, and my dad had rotator cuff surgery. He tore his rotator cuff, so he's in a sling in the summer. This is in the summer, in the off season. It's like he needed it during the NBA season, and he was like, okay, I'll do it once we finish in the off season. So my dad has shoulder surgery. He's in a sling, and he didn't have an assistant. It was just him in the weight room, and I was home for the summer. And so it was perfect that he needed help. He needed some hands in the weight room, and I knew my way around the weight room somewhat, so I could be there to help, and was fortunate enough that the team let me come in and help and everything, and kind of got a foot in the door. I kind of knew everybody already, but then being there on a day-to-day basis and working with the athletes, it was great for me seeing that that kind of made me want to go into that and pursue that. I always knew I enjoyed that. I always knew I enjoyed the strength and conditioning and the training and everything, but it wasn't like a big plan all along that's what I'm going to do. I was actually a business undergrad major.
Okay.
And I was going into my senior year, but I took all the prerequisites for exercise science just because one, I was interested in it, and I thought I might want to go that route, but I wasn't totally sure. So I spent that summer working with my dad with the Heat, and then I decided, I want to pursue this. So I ended up going and getting my master's in applied physiology and kinesiology. And then as a part of that grad degree, I needed an internship, and I was actually fortunate enough to, with the connections I made with the Heat, do that again, work with the Heat. And then once I graduated, they kept me on as an intern, and then they hired me full-time as assistant strength coach. And then just a few years ago, my dad decided he wanted to step back but still be involved. So they promoted me to head strength and conditioning coach and kept him around as strength and conditioning consultant.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome. That's cool.
Man.
And how long is your dad been around? Or with the Heat?
He's been with the Heat. This is his 32nd season.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Because a couple of years ago.
32nd?
Yeah.
I'm 33, man.
Yeah.
When I was 1 year old.
I'm 32. Yeah, so he was, when I was born, he was at the University of Miami, actually. And the first year of the Heat was 88-89. It was an expansion team, and they practiced at the University of Miami. So my dad was right there. They asked him to help and be a consultant.
Oh.
And so he was there, and then the second year of the Heat. So he was actually full-time since 89. So after that first season, he was a consultant, and then the second year, they asked him to come on full-time, and he's been there full-time since 1989.
That is crazy. That's cool. That's cool. And you being around, so all the titles you guys won, see your dad kind of develop and help the guys you get where, what all of us win a title.
Right.
How's that feeling?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah, it's great. Especially knowing everything that goes into it.
Yep.
I mean, the fans just see, you have this star player, so you're expected to win. But it's really hard to win in this league.
It is.
And to win in the playoffs and win against, 4 of the top teams and win 4 games against each of them, it's just so grueling. And it's the whole year of all the training, everything that goes into it every day.
Yeah.
So kind of knowing all the behind the scenes, just how much goes into it, to see how hard it is, to see that actually then pay off is huge.
Yeah, so people understand it's like you have your highs and you have your lows in the NBA, so you have your star player, but usually like you have for a couple of years or you have for 5-6 years, and then, you have to kind of rebuild.
Yep.
So you've seen the highs and you've seen the lows, right?
Yep.
And how much discipline do you think, or you've seen the difference between you not being a very good like a playoff team or a non-playoff team to win the title?
Yeah, it's I mean a lot goes into it. From a strength and conditioning perspective, you always want to, put the best product out there and train the guys to be the best you can be. But when you get the right mix and it just kind of gels and you can just kind of feel it, that you're kind of building something special.
For sure, that's cool.
That's awesome. Because you saw a title being won as a son of someone that worked in the organization, and then later on you saw a title being won as a person working there, right? As part of the actual squad.
Yep.
Was there a difference?
Yeah, there was, and I mean, it's probably less of a difference for me just because I was still around and involved through my dad a little bit, and I knew the guys and I was around some, but it's not like being there every day. When you're there every day training, ever since the summer, every day with the guys and everything, and then you see that payoff, that's just so much more rewarding than just being aware of it from the outside.
That's interesting. And is there anything you could pinpoint, not just one thing exactly, but maybe a combination of trades that maybe it's that year was special because of that? And talking talent aside.
I mean, one of the big things is just kind of the team atmosphere and the guys kind of getting along in the locker room and just kind of seeing everything come together.
That's cool.
So talk about methodologies, training, programming, right? I mean, 99% of people see you, so how's your dad? It's kind of funny, but so Bill and Eric, now you guys are, your dad's still involved, but you were the head strength coach. seeing what your dad has done with the team, how much have you changed to kind of things that you believe more? Because everything evolves, right?
Yep.
Like we keep it simple. We do the same things, but everything evolves. But have you changed anything from like when your dad was the head strength coach to now you have a little bit more flexibility to do what you believe? How much that have changed?
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely believe in the fundamentals that he believes in, that you need to be strong. Strength enhances everything, like all the other physical qualities. You're stronger, you're going to be, faster, more explosive, more on balance, quicker, change of direction, more resistant to injury. So just kind of having that foundation of strength has been huge, and just seeing the way he's programmed and the way he kind of executes the program with talking to the guys and checking in, and like how he schedules and programs and everything, that's been a huge influence on me. But like I said before, my track and field background, I took a lot from that as far as some different power training and plyometrics, and because I mean the basketball is so much more skill and strategy based than track and field is basically pure athleticism. It's running fast, jumping high, all that.
For sure.
So being able to kind of come from a track and field background and use some of those principles and just kind of apply it towards basketball, I've definitely taken some from that, but definitely stayed mostly true to the same fundamentals that my dad has always used, because I see that it works. There's no use kind of breaking it down and starting over if I see it's successful and it's working. No point in starting over from scratch. But definitely I've been able to add my own things, trying to add for some of the guys more variety for kind of the younger generation, where he was dealing with guys in the 90s. He was doing a lot of more very consistent with lifts and everything. Where now some guys crave that, some guys crave the consistency, and then some guys want a little bit more variety and do a little bit better with a little bit more variety. So I've been trying to add some of my own things for sure.
That's cool.
Super interesting. So, like, feeding off that a little bit, what is, was there like a moment where you and dad might have like, not clashed, but it's like you start tweaking and then he went with you, and then you guys start programming together, and then like his differences with your differences, and you guys are able to work things out, and over time it shaped into a different philosophy?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. There's never like, I can't think of one specific time that it was like totally opposed, but definitely there have been times where I might have one idea, he's had another idea, and whichever one we go with, you just kind of go with at the time, see how it's going live in the room and everything with the guys, and then we'll talk about it after, and like maybe why this or why that, and kind of see how that can evolve, and no, it's been great. It's been very positive. Yeah, there have been some times where we may not see exactly eye to eye, but it's never been like that confrontational or anything, but it's been good to get different perspectives.
I can't imagine working with my dad. Like, I'm just being flat out, to this day, like he will come visit sometimes, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Because I mean, I don't know your story, but like pretty much like you go to work, and I don't know if you have your own place, or at the end of the day you kind of gotta go back home. If you live with your dad, it would be like.
I did at the beginning when I was interning, but yeah, I have my own place now. But I live a mile and a half from him, so I see him regularly.
I see. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. It's like, well,
we got Sunday family brunch. Nah,
no. That's funny.
That's cool.
And talking about international players, I mean, we are international. You've seen a lot of international players, and what do you see the difference or the big impact you can make with an international player coming to the league?
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting to learn different cultures and see how it is in different parts of the world, and it just kind of helps shape a more well-rounded view of everything when you kind of get different perspectives from around the world, rather than just stuck in the box of what just here and just only these players. But I think it's awesome to kind of hear about life in different parts of the world and everything, and and even different languages and all that. But yeah, we have one player right now from Slovenia that I visited a couple times over there, and,
it's a great country.
and yeah. It's awesome. You been?
I've been to like the border. The place that I've been was weird. It was like a day that we stayed there, but they say it's a cool country because of the culture.
It is. It's really under the radar. It's you don't hear too much about it. I guess you're starting to hear more about it now with Luca. But yeah, it's a really cool place, really cool country. Had a great time there, great people, and the training. They're doing something right for sure. They've been having a lot of talent come from this tiny country. It's a small country with only 2 million people. They just won the European Championship a few years ago against all the powerhouse countries, and I keep in touch with the strength coach from there that works with their national team. I was actually just texting with him earlier today, but
that's cool.
I think that's been a big highlight to me, is just not just getting stuck in just the NBA thing, but some of the other things about our international players, talking to their coaches that they worked with back home and seeing what they're doing and just their culture and spending time with them. And this strength coach, Andrzej Maciek with the Slovenian national team, he's been to Miami and visited us. I've been and spent time with him in Slovenia. So
that's cool.
Cool. Yeah.
That's a hell of an exchange.
Yeah.
Well, how interesting is I've been to Serbia multiple times, and like Slovenia, like around Croatia. To me, the coolest part is they do such an amazing job with strength conditioning, what we do, with so little. And I know we are in the NBA, we have equipment, we have so many things. But like, there are players that if you don't have a barbell that's not like shiny, they will be like, why are we lifting? And you get there.
You just get it done. It's just about the results.
It's crazy to get there, and it's like,
make it work.
You have this rusty dumbbell, and you're like, that's what we have, and you're like, let's make it work.
Let's do it. Let's get better.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. That to me is like, it's so cool.
I love their attitude over there.
Yeah. See, because to me it was the same thing. Like Felipe said, we were both from Brazil, but I spent 5 years in Canada, then make my way to the United States. And in Canada, it was funny because that's where I start as a strength and conditioning coach. And I mean, there were times I was training a whole team with just a room.
Yeah.
Like nothing, no bands. Like you had lines on the floor and like 10 kids, but like there's so much you can do.
There is. Get creative and just find a way.
You write chalk on the ground and you run from here to there, stop, turn, whatever, plyos. But it really forced me to be a better coach. And then now you have more equipment available, like, okay, this is easier, right? Because you made it work with so little at first. And I think that's the huge part of all these countries when we talk to those strength coaches, because they've been doing it for a while with so little.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what we're doing here in the bubble. I mean, you guys got a good setup here. I mean, we have a similar room right across the hallway, but we're just in a hotel room. Like this is not a big, NBA facility. We're just in a hotel room, but it's what we have, and we just got to get the job done.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. And how much of that internationality, culture, experience, knowledge, call it whatever, that in acquiring that and being interested from a coaching standpoint, how much you think that can help you become a better coach?
Oh yeah, I think it's huge. I think there's a lot of different personalities and learning styles, and whether a person is from a certain area or not, we see these athletes all have different. They might have different learning styles, or kind of gel with a different presentation of how you're going to do the training, and so just being exposed to more cultures and just more philosophies, I think just helps in anything, with any just kind of relationship, seeing different perspectives on things.
You know what's funny? One time I watched a presentation of you and your father, and I think, was that on the NBA? I think it was on the strength coaches conference in Chicago, right? And then your dad is showing videos of some of the training stuff, and you were in every video doing some like jumping, I'm like, who is this guy? Oh, by the way, he's my son.
Sprinting, and I remember that.
Oh yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah, it's kind of he likes to show off sometimes, but it's, I mean, growing up around that world, strength and conditioning, and then being a track athlete, I was able to do a lot of things that our players can't do at their size and everything. So, it just kind of helps get their attention and just a little more credibility that, I'm athletic.
Yeah. No, I remember I was watching the presentation. I was like, dude, this is crazy. This is awesome.
So here's a question that we ask all the strength coaches that come here. If you are a young strength coach and you start young, you've seen a lot of people want to get to the NBA, but they don't know what it takes, right? Mm-hmm. So what would you say, you're further, like the part of the organization, the NFSCA, what would you say, like what's the best path, or there's not a best path, but what the path is to get you to strength conditioning?
Yeah, I'd say that the number one thing is wherever you are now, just do as good a job as you can.
I love that.
In whatever setting you're in. If you're at a lower level working with kids or whatever it is, just do the best job with that group that you can. Make them the best you can be. That's the best way to work on yourself, and that success gets noticed. Mm-hmm. And being able to network through, like you mentioned, the NBSCA clinic and different strength and conditioning conferences, and being able to meet, and now with social media and everything, just kind of networking with different strength coaches. But the biggest thing is success, and do a great job where you are, because people will take notice if you're successful. People will take notice, and then that might help get you to that next level, and then just do the absolute best you can there. Just crush it at that level, and people will notice, and you can kind of work your way up that way.
That's cool, because we had Shapiro, and he was an intern. He was paying to work in the NBA. Which is
I remember hearing that. Yeah.
We had John, and John was a ball boy.
Yeah,
it's funny how
the commonality starting to show.
But like everything that you just say, just like work hard and and just do your best.
Work hard. It's not going to be given that you're going to become the head strength and conditioning coach at a high level. You have to kind of work your way up, and at each step along the way, whether you're an assistant or an intern or working with kids, just do the best job you can in that current role.
And this is like, I'm not criticizing people in the field, but I guess I am. But sometimes I feel like they get a little butthurt or jealous because I didn't get a shot, or I don't have a chance, because they want literally to get pulled out from whatever they're doing. Yeah. Like, I would do so much better at that job if I was the head guy there, But at the same time, it's like, from what we understand so far, is that organizations, they want people that they know personally.
That's true.
That they talked before, that they know the people they're recommending them, right? So I feel like you can be a really good strength coach and do awesome job. That does not necessarily means that someone's just gonna pick up the phone, call you, like, hey, we have a job for you.
For sure. Yeah, it's the combination of the doing a great job and the networking, getting to know people seeing your face, people seeing your work, networking at conferences and everything. Like, I know I met you, I think, the first time.
It was exactly right.
It was in Chicago.
I was about to say this because you were like, I met you before.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think Jeremy Hallsoppel introduced me to you. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we gotta get him on here too. Yeah. But it's funny because sometimes just a handshake or a, hey, how you doing, and then leave it at that.
Yeah.
And then fast forward 2-3 years later, it's I remember this guy.
Yes. That I mean, it's kind of human nature, but that does help. That totally helps. Rather than just a blind resume, knowing, kind of seeing a face, having some interaction with the person, and then knowing that they're doing a great job, it just kind of all comes together.
Yeah.
How's the bubble? How is this experience here for you?
It's been good. Yeah. It's been good. It's it's been busy. We've got 17 players, and I'm our only strength and conditioning coach here, so it's been busy just kind of making sure everybody's doing what they need to do. But I've enjoyed it. I don't mind it. I've been, hanging out with the team and spending some good time in my room doing an online course and doing some reading and I've been enjoying it. I've been getting outside for some walks. I've done a couple sprint workouts, not anything like you, but I got to get out there with you sometime.
Come on, anytime. Hey, we usually go every morning. So
sounds good.
At least 5 times a week.
Okay, nice.
That's what the template is for.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Strength coach named Derek Hansen out of Canada. He's a big speed coach. He had this thing. It was
the name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he did a virtual speed camp.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
I signed up for it, and then
cool.
like you get a template.
They tell
every
you
week.
which day what to do.
That's
cool.
The volume, distance, everything's linked with videos.
Oh,
so
nice.
you do have like your speed drills, your actual runs, like cool downs, everything.
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool.
That's cool. How far into it are you?
This is week 7. We're finishing tomorrow.
Nice. Did you do any like pre-test, post-test kind of thing, like to get your time and then see?
No. I probably should have.
Yeah,
but here it's tough because we don't really have a track.
No, I know.
So
you're out there like running the bridge. And
so I became a little like I'm more OCD than that. Like if I want to measure something, I want to make sure it's like I'm over here like taking like is it 20-meter sprints? I'm taking 20 large steps. And then dropping the band and running through the band.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I got to get out there and join you on that.
It's fun. Yeah, one of our athletic trainers is doing it with me as well. Cool. Yeah, and like actually like a team attendant.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's fun. Get that group. Yeah, I saw you guys when I walked by the one time. You guys were out there doing runs. Yeah.
So
nice.
It's again like tying to what Felipe said about the bubble. It's like to me it kept me. I like following a program.
Yeah.
As a strength coach, I'm not a big fan of writing my own. Yeah. Just because I'm like I start. Is this right? Is this enough? Then wait a minute, I didn't sleep that well.
And then it's easy to change. It's like, I just wrote something. So,
yeah. So this one is like more like a template. I'm like, now it's more like a prideful thing. Like, hey, I got to finish this.
Yeah.
So it keeps me more accountable.
Yeah,
I would
nice.
say.
Nice. So. Now you said you were in Canada. Where in Canada were you?
I was in Sudbury, Ontario. That's where I did my undergrad.
How far from Toronto is that?
That's 4 hours north.
Okay.
And funny enough, one day I just drove to meet John.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was just one of those things like we had a friend in common and it's like, yeah, you can stop by and say hello.
Oh, that's awesome.
And when was it? We were in Summer League in Vegas last year.
Yeah.
And then John walked by and he's like, I know you. You remember this?
Yeah.
Because Felipe was like, hey, this is Klaus, my new assistant. And I'm like, hi, John. He's like, I met you before. I'm like, actually, I visited you in Toronto, and like he like hosted me for like a whole day. I watched practice. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But then again, it ties into the whole like career and networking and meeting people.
That's it. That's why you're here. That's why you are where you are.
So
no,
it was funny because it's like looking back. Yeah, I have this job, but it was like. Jeremy, John, you know, all those people. Like at some point, I had some FaceTime with you guys. You know, and then Felipe, same thing.
When did you guys first connect?
It was in Chicago. It was in Chicago at the conference where Jeremy came to me and said like, "Hey,
you just hear some Portuguese going on." And
no, Jeremy texted me like 2 days before the conference, saying, "It's like, hey, there's a guy." No, he texted me before. And then there's a guy from Brazil, and I texted with him back and forth, and it was cool. And then he was like, 2 days before the conference, he was like, hey, the guy from Brazil is coming here, would love for you to meet him. And then that was
that was it,
like a Friday night that we do like a cocktail for the sponsors and things like that. So that was the first time.
Yeah, okay, wow.
It was funny because like Jeremy didn't tell me this, so it was kind of like, come to the conference in Chicago, but you got to pay your own way. And I'm like, that's cool. I mean, I want to meet strength coaches and hopefully one day work there. And then he was like, I get there, and then we're at this party event, and he's like, I totally forgot to tell you, like, there's this strength coach for the Nuggets. He's from Brazil as well. And I'm like, cool. Like, and that's when I met Felipe.
So, that's awesome.
Yeah. But then again, everybody thinks like, like, you have a job with another Brazilian guy because you guys are both from Brazil. And it's like, no, dude, like I met Felipe, 4 or 5 years ago. And then now like a job happened, you know? It took like us to stay in touch and all that stuff.
Right. So. And it's not like you're just hiring everybody from Brazil. It's like, you had to find a good strength coach.
Oh, it's funny.
That's cool.
The stories, but.
Cool, man.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
That's awesome, man. Your story just getting to where you are. You guys have a pretty good team. Different situations with the season, stopping, starting, and
it's crazy.
It's cool that we all learn, right, how to train the guys.
Definitely.
Is this going to be a new normal or not?
Definitely. Yeah, I know. We'll see moving forward, but yeah, this has definitely been a course in adapting and overcoming, and just whatever we're given, it's like, okay, cool, we're gonna adapt, and that's what we're doing.
Have you noticed anything peculiar about this setup here at the bubble in terms of like, is it helping performance? Is it like not so favorable for performance? Because I could go on some of the things that I've been thinking, but I would like to hear from you.
I mean, it's actually, lifting has been great. Like, lifting attendance has been like really, really good because everybody's captive. There's nothing else going on. It's like everybody's getting their lifts in. It's like everybody's working out every day and everything. It's been really conducive to that. Because at home, people go home to their families and everything, and here there's not much else going on. So they come in, they lift, they work out, they shoot, and it's been like a lot of training. Like just nothing else interfering.
No, because it's funny because that's one of the points that we talked about it too. It's like some of the young guys, like they don't have to in their minds choose. I'm gonna go home and chill,
right?
Or I'm gonna go lift.
Yeah.
They're here. Yeah. They're like, what am I gonna do? Go to my room?
Yep.
No, I'll go lift.
Yep.
The temptation is just not there, right?
You're right. That's been helpful.
And then we're not hopping in and out of planes, and we're not changing time zones.
Yes. For sure. Exactly. Yeah. I was just talking about that with someone the other day. We're so used to after games, and all the games are typically late. We're here. We're playing like in the afternoon, and then you get home, and it's like still early in the day, and you don't have to fly, and
you have time to go shoot a podcast.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Totally. No, it's been definitely some advantages for performance that way. The no distractions and not having to do the travel. Remove those two things, and it's very conducive for performance.
It's interesting because I feel like we're gonna see a lot of like high level performing. From the players because of that.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think a lot of people weren't sure just because of the shutdown. But I don't know how it was for you guys exactly, but we had a big group in Miami training. Once we were cleared, we were doing Zoom workouts and sent guys things and everything, and then we started in-person workouts, and we were getting really good attendance there. Most guys were in town in Miami, so we felt pretty good about that. I know some of the other teams didn't have guys in market. They were like out and scattered around and back home.
They're probably in Miami.
Yeah, exactly. They were all in Miami. But so I think that helped. But yeah, I think guys look like they're in great shape, and just kind of looking around the league, guys look like they've been training and they're set up for good performance. And like you said, that is being in the bubble, not having to cross time zones and travel late, where you land at 2 a.m. and you gotta take a bus. To Denver is a long ride to the airport. Yeah. So just coming straight back to the hotel, it's easy.
Because like for example, do you feel like you got into a routine by now?
Yeah.
See, because what I was feeling was like at first, like practices were like sometimes in the morning block and then afternoon and some evenings, and like I felt like my schedule was completely upside down. And I felt like the players felt that too.
Yeah. True. And especially at the beginning, the practice times were all over the place. Like sometimes you'll have a 9 a.m. practice. Sometimes you'll have a 7 p.m. practice. It's like just different times every day. So it's like not a set schedule, but you just kind of learn that this is what it's going to be, and you just adapt to that and find the way to make it work within that framework.
Because at first I was dog tired.
Yeah.
Me personally. Like just trying to, we got to move equipment here and then be ready for this, and it's like, wait a minute.
And you're quarantined
same schedule,
at first.
Yes. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
But same schedule as yesterday. I'm like, wait a minute. No, it's completely different than yesterday. You know? But
Yep.
Well,
for sure.
This is awesome. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Eric Foran, legend, son of a legend as well. So appreciate your time, man.
Yeah,
Thank you
you guys.
Thank you so much.
Obrigado.